Welcome to another Round the Rotary, and with us today, I got a good buddy of mine, Hunter Wallace, the COO of Atlas Sand, coming at you live from Austin, Texas. Is that correct?
Right. Thanks for having me, the one and only JP Warren.
Well, thanks for being on, the one and only Hunter Wallace. So I guess you're back in the office now, huh?
Yeah, we're actually in a little temporary office right now. Hindsight being 2020, we probably wouldn't have moved office spaces, but we had kind of started down that road about 6 months ago, and we're all crammed into one office space right now while they're building out the next floor above us. Um, so we kind of are keeping even more people at home than we normally would because we don't want to be too crammed into one spot.
So you said you were planning this 6 months ago, and you didn't plan for the COVID stay-at-home 2-month lockdown order. What kind of planning is that as a COO?
Yeah, I missed the boat on that one. I apologize.
I think we all did. Well, hey, let's kick this off. First off, thanks for coming on, and let's talk. Let's get a little, preview in your background. You know, kind of, where you came from, and kind of your professional background, and where you're at today.
Yeah, so petroleum engineer from A&M, graduated, went to work for XTO as a drilling engineer, which is kind of what I had always wanted to do. I actually rough-necked through college for that reason, to try to push more experience on the drilling side into my resume. Thankfully found a drilling manager over there named Dane Henley, awesome guy to break out under, and was underneath some really, really sharp engineers, and I learned a ton. We were one of the most active divisions within XTO. We were running as many as 41 rigs at one time, and we only had 3 or 4 drilling engineers through that time. So it was crazy. It was trial by fire for sure. I mean, I remember I walked into the office and Dane goes, "Okay, so I'm going to give you this rig, and this rig, 3 rigs." I mean, first week straight out of school. And for those of you who have never been to petroleum engineering school, they don't teach you how to run a rig. So I was kind of told Dane, like, "Dane, I'm going to screw this up." And he said, "That's the only way you're going to learn, son." So I was, like I said, a great guy to break out under. 2 years into that, Exxon bought us. That definitely changed the dynamic within XTO. Unfortunately, we lost a lot of our really strong talent, and those same guys that I was underneath and learning from were leaving. And so I stayed for 2 years after the buyout, and then I went over to Pioneer Natural Resources. Great company, was happy there. But just found out through a friend of a friend that Bud Brigham, founder of Brigham Resources, was looking for a drilling and completions guy. So I didn't really think that I would make the cut, but I threw my hat into the ring, and the rest is history. I was able to come over to a small private equity backed group, a really sharp group of guys, and we did good. We executed a sale in 2017 to Diamondback, and everybody prospered from that, and then that kind of rolled me to where I am here at Atlas Sand, which is kind of a weird story, weird transition, going over to the sales and service side. But
let's talk about that. Yeah, that's definitely something I want to talk about. I mean, so you went from an operator, PE backed Brigham, to a sand company on the service side. So you start off. Did you say you start off in sales?
I could never sell as good as you, JP. So I'm not going to step into an arena and
no. We both
the great JP Warren.
No, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about going from an operator side of things to kind of we were discussing before we even started this, that it was starting a company from the ground up. So give us kind of a little peep into that.
Yeah. So, after the sale to Diamondback, the same team was staying together, the same Brigham Resources team. Like I said, really great group of guys, but a lot of them were kind of taking long vacations, kind of enjoying the sale. We'd all worked our butts off for 3 to 5 years, depending on when you got there. And in that lag, while I was kind of looking at acreage packages, we weren't getting too aggressive on it. This West Texas sand opportunity comes across Bud's desk. Just, fluke luck of the draw deal. He comes down the hall and kind of tosses it on my desk and says, "Take a look at this. Let me know what you think." I started looking at it and I said, man, I mean, if this sand is good enough quality, I mean, this is a no-brainer. So we started checking the boxes on the quality, checking the boxes on what lease term would look like, what the economics of mining the deposit would look like. And, all of a sudden I look up and 3 months have gone by and really all I've been working on is this sand deal. And I'm completely enthralled in it. I mean, I think it's going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then Bud made me an offer that I couldn't refuse to be COO here. It was a scary jump. It was something I had to go home and talk to my wife about. I mean, I think I'm kind of one of the very that have gone from E&P to sales and service. That's not normally the direction of flow. I went against the grain there a little bit, but like I said, it's an opportunity I really believed in, an opportunity I still believe in. And looking back, I wouldn't change it for the world. I've learned so much. Like you said earlier, building a company from scratch. I mean, when we started, it was Bud, myself, and John Turner, my CFO. So 3 guys and an idea, and we built it to what is the biggest and best Permian sand company out there with 220 employees.
So did your mindset shift? I know, as a service provider, I mean, I've never worked for an operator before, but I've worked for a rig contractor before, and then I've also worked for several service companies. Did your mindset change at all from going from an operator, taking the bids in and awarding the work to I guess being one that provide the bids and selling the product or service?
Yeah, no, it definitely changes. And I'll tell you what, it really woke me up to some of the things we were doing on the E&P side that just, really and truly aren't fair to the sales and service companies. If I ever do go back to that side of the business, I'll have a completely new outlook on how to handle those relationships. But yeah, it's interesting because all of our peers are mining guys. They're guys that have mined sand or other aggregates for 2, 3, maybe 5 decades. Frac sand didn't really blow up as a high volume business until 2013, 2014. It was there in 2010 and a little before that, but again, volume wise, pretty small. So frac sand specifically is kind of a subset of the industry that most of our peers are in. It blew up, they went after it, but they don't know really anything about the oil and gas industry. They're just sand and aggregate guys servicing the oil and gas industry. We are oil and gas guys that built a sales and service company in the form that an E&P would want it to look like. So, I think it helps us a ton, especially with our customers and our sales process. And, I've been out there with the sales team whenever, they, and I think that it may help for me to be there. Most of the time I'll leave that to the beautiful JP Warrens of the world. We've got a great sales team here, but yeah, I've definitely learned a ton being on the other side of the table and in those sales meetings as well.
Well, that's such an interesting way to put it. That you're right. You do have that, or all of you, I guess, at Atlas Stand has that advantage that you sat at both sides of the table. So you understand what number one the customer is looking for, but now I guess on the service side, you know what to provide. So it's I think that's kind of a niche market. You can kind of fill that in. I think that's pretty exciting. So I guess so with everything going on right now. With obviously COVID and oil prices slowly making a rebound and all that stuff. What do you see the oil patch? I know you and I discussed. Do you see the oil patch changing at all? I guess once this slump kind of starts kind of maturing. I mean, a lot of people have. So let me phrase this question a little bit better. A lot of people have doom and gloom. Okay. Production slowing down, production stopping, the demand's not there, people staying at their house through COVID, companies are going to be either consolidated or go bankrupt, lay people off. So it's a very pessimistic doom and gloom right now in the oil and gas industry. And people are talking about the new norm and what's going to be happening moving forward. Do you see that occurring?
Well, the new norm is getting outside of my area of expertise, what the economy is going to do, what travel is going to do, where the demand of oil is going to go. I mean, I personally think there is going to be a new normal, which is going to be a decrease from what the original normal was pre-COVID. But again, not really my area of expertise. I'm not an economist. But for the oil field side, I think there's going to be definitely some changes. Some really unfortunate things are going to happen. There's going to be some people that have already lost their jobs, and unfortunately, I think there's going to be more that lose their jobs. And that to me is probably one of the worst parts about this whole deal. I mean, and especially in a time like this is not just a regular oil field downturn where they can go to another industry and find a job. You know, I mean, the entire economy's down. So when these people are having to let their guys and gals go, they're basically telling them, you're not going to have a job. You're going on unemployment. So it's that much worse this time around. On a broader scale, at a 30,000 foot view, is the oil and gas industry going to change or be different on the other side of this? I personally don't think it's going to be that much different. I mean, I was born and raised in this industry. My dad graduated in the early 80s as a petroleum engineer. We moved all over as a kid, been through ups and downs. I graduated in '08. This is my third downturn to go through. There's always the same rhetoric. There's always the same, like, we're going to change, and we're going to get lean and things are going to get better. And, then the next uptick happens and everybody's memory just goes blank and we're right back where we started. So, and it's not a terrible thing. I'm not sure that the industry needs to change a whole bunch. I mean, we need to get a lot of this debt off of us. I mean, especially the E&Ps, we borrowed ourselves, into a big problem. And a lot of those guys needed to do it. I mean, these shale developments are not cheap. And you need to get a base layer of production built up, and that costs a lot of money. So it was needed, but now it's time to start, flowing free cash flow, which is what, the market was beating us all over the head with for the last 24 months, right? So this is definitely going to make that much more difficult. It's going to slow that process down. I think there were a lot of great E&Ps that were headed that way, that were already or about to be, free cash flow flowing this year. So it's going to be the same in a lot of ways and different in some. There's your very profound answer there, Jacob.
That sounds like a definite maybe. So I mean, you kind of I kind of wanted to save this towards the end of it, but you brought up a stark reality of kind of what's going on. You're right. A lot of people are losing their jobs. And actually this is May 20th when we're doing this recording, and there probably will be a lot more. I mean, if you go on LinkedIn these days, it's a bloodbath. It's a massacre out there. And there's a lot of people that, I've seen that, I've done, for example, sales for the last 20 years. And, that's the only thing I know. But I think you have a great story and a great background, because you were drilling. You were a drilling engineer for Brigham, and you went from that, and we discussed, you went to kind of started doing completions, which you didn't have that much experience from. So the fact that now you actually went from a E&P company to a service provider, it's one of those things that I just kind of want to stress that it's if you find yourself in an environment where, I mean, if it's a new challenge or a new role or something that you've never done before, just like you said previously, 3 months you picked your head up and you're already along this path of starting the Atlas Sand. So I think it's important to stress to people out there that are listening in that just because a new opportunity or a new challenge is kind of you're faced with, you should be willing to adapt. You should be willing to change and actually conquer that and put your best foot forward and just put your head down and just kind of and plow through that and evolve. Kind of similar to what you did.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree. I think that it's real easy to get, stuck in what you do, because you probably do it pretty well. I mean, I loved drilling. It was my first pick out of college of what the disciplines I really wanted to focus on, and I loved it the entire time I was in it. And when Brigham gave me the completion side, I was a little bit nervous, but I was a lot more excited than anything. I've got a lot of buddies that I've been around and with through the completions, and knew the lingo at least, right? I wasn't walking completely cold. Um, but I enjoyed it. I was excited about the new opportunity. This Atlas deal, that one, made me really, really stop and think. I mean, building a sales and service company from the ground up for the first time, and we had to go out and raise our own capital, and I mean, all of that was completely new to me. So it was very intimidating. But sitting here 3 years later, I mean, wow, I wouldn't have it any other way, man. I think you said it great. You broaden your horizons, you go force yourself to do new things. It should do nothing but make you more valuable. That mindset of, well, I'm a good drilling engineer. If I just stay good there, I'll be all right. Nah, I don't think that's the right path to take. I think, get a lot under your belt and understand all facets of the business.
Exactly. Don't pigeonhole yourself to one area of expertise, whether that's sales, whether that's HR, whatever that looks like. And honestly, what a tremendous job that y'all have done. I mean, I remember when you first started this thing 3 years ago, and kind of, I guess I've seen from the sidelines, y'all position yourself into the company y'all today. It's been exciting.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome, man. And then I guess let's wrap this. I mean, what are you looking forward to? What are you looking forward to right now, whether it's personal or professionally, or in our industry?
I think everybody's looking forward to higher oil prices, right? So that's a pretty unoriginal answer. But beyond that, we built this company for bigger and better things. We've only just started with the story that's going to be Atlas Sand. So we've got a lot of projects in the queue, and we kind of had to back burner those. And so as activity picks back up, really, really excited to pull those to the forefront and get some of that new stuff out there.
All right. Well, I guess if there's anything you'd like to bring up, let's close this out with number one. What shows would you recommend to someone sitting at the house right now?
My sister. So my sister's at A&M. There's a big age gap between us, and she's been staying with us. She actually took her finals from the house, kind of just helping us with the kids and stuff. And she had never seen Chernobyl. Which I thought was awesome. Right?
That is one of the best shows out there.
Yeah, man, and it doesn't get a lot of praise because there's not a lot of drama in it or anything like that. It's just really well done.
But wasn't it one of the? I think it was one of the highest rated IMDb shows ever.
Was it?
There. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, I mean, now you got Tiger King, so I don't know who's gonna.
Man, I think Tiger King's just a COVID thing. You know what I mean? I think that got people's minds of like, okay, well, I thought the world's crazy right now, but hold on, it's not that crazy. I don't think it was it's Tiger King. I mean, it's a phase. It's a phase.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, all this stuff, the Jordan show, I haven't seen that one yet, but that one's, I mean, ESPN and all these sports talk shows have nothing to talk about until they're like dissecting this poor one, mini series on Michael Jordan. I'm sure Jordan and Pippen and those guys are going like, geez, guys, y'all released this at the worst time ever. But
dude, I know. Once the announcement of no more sports, I mean, I guess so. I mean, I'm not a sports guy, but I remember there's a couple guys at the park playing slam ball or whatever, and I think you can say that's what she said, line.
No.
Okay, all right. So, gotcha. So they were playing slam ball, and I was kind of being the announcer for that. Like, got a lot of reactions. I guess it's been for the sports. It's been fine. Like it hasn't changed for me. Like I'm not a sports guy. I kind of feel like I know enough. I know about 2 or 3 sentences to start, BSing about enough. But the bullshittery is not there when it comes to it. So I'm fine. I'm fine with no sports.
It's been rough for me. I mean, at least it's been the fall, so it's not football season. Everything's looking good for football. But if football for some reason was canceled, that would be
brutal.
That'd be tough on me.
That would be brutal. Hey, what message would you have for our audience that are listening in right now to wrap this up?
Well, since most of your audience is probably oil field,
all three of us are, yeah.
Yeah. I would say that this isn't the end of the world. We've been through these downturns before. It will come back. I think a lot of people are getting pretty optimistic that it could come back even before the end of the year, and I personally think that might be slightly too optimistic, but even if that's not the case, it should be early next. So, keep your head up, keep working hard. It's all you can do. Can't fix the stuff you can't control. So focus on the stuff that you can.
That's right. Well, Hunter, thanks for coming by again. Everyone, this is Hunter Wallace, the COO at Atlas Sand. And if you have any questions for him or want to get in touch with him or get in touch with us at the show, it's you can email us at at roundtherotary at cap-petro.com. Again, it's roundtherotary at cap-petro.com. All right, Hunter. It's one of those weeks. All right.
You nailed that one.
Nailed it. I won't have to do a
by
second.
By the way, barbershops are open again. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Okay, Dad. All right. Anyway, appreciate that. So thanks for joining us on Round the Rotary, and we'll talk to you in a little bit.
Later, buddy.
Later.